pretty atrocious start for Lifestealer. There is the Pugnut to save at the very least. An early decrep can kind of hold off that aggression. But, you know, Lifestealer's first 2, maybe arguably first 3 levels are pretty meh. You kind of want to trade. You've got the Harass to play afar. Sure, Centaur has a strength here, but he does do decent damage early on. He doesn't care too much about the sustain from Lifestealer. So that's what I want to see from LGD. Kind of win out this bot lane, win out their off lane really nicely, and kind of build off that momentum. Try to get a pretty decent level 6 timing on your line to start to rotate, play around with your Invoker, and play around with this Shadow Step that will come out from Shiro down the line. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, game 1, of course, Falcons looked absolutely fantastic, just completely outmaneuvering and outplaying the side of LGD. And well, hold on a minute, Skidder. Gonna run right into YU Smile. They haven't seen each other quite yet, LGD. Barely missing out. Skidder will just walk right by them. LGD, I suppose they do have the numbers here, so it is Falcons that need to be a little bit more careful. Falcons hanging around the top side, trying to see if they can find themselves a target around the mid lane, but LGD playing very, very cautiously around that area. It will reveal himself, but it's going to amount to nothing.
Should be pretty decent time in trades. Really good forward ward being dropped here by Falcons, watching them move into that ramp. They will trade evenly this time on Bounty Rune, so it's a little bit of a different story from last time. But yeah, like they got the information. Quick D ward, a little bit of a bonus. If they planted their ward on that cliff earlier instead, they had the position, they could have maybe gone for that play on Skipper. They held off, they played conservatively, they miss out. Let's see how much more they can get out though as the laning phase does break out. Y hang around for now, could just take the gate, but I don't know about this early commitment if Y does stay. Should just go back up top. You don't want to leave your Spectre alone too long. You want to poke away these heroes and give some space for Shiro.
Yeah, there's not much you can do as a level 1 Phoenix anyway. You know, it's just get to your lane, so help out your cores. We'll see bottom lane, LGD, of course they've got PYW and New jumping right in onto Snaking, and Skidder trying to help out, though Snaking dropping extremely low, but will be just fine to walk away. Of course, into the mid lane, Emo again up against the Dragon Knight of Maureen. I dare say the Invoker does not enjoy this matchup either.
No, it certainly doesn't. I mean, you just keep shoving out the Wavered Breed Fire. You can't lose in trades for the most part with Dragon Blood to sustain you. Again, you have some decent movement that can come out here from the side of LGD with a line, but rotating into the Invoker lane early doesn't sound too feasible. If they didn't do it with the Lina lane, I don't know if you're really going to try to force it with the Invoker lane on mid.
Yeah. Of course, top lane, Shiro and YU Smile against Crit and ATF again. Of course, the off lane of Falcons last game. I mean, it went really, really damn well and really disastrously for LGD. ATF obviously was completely out of control that game, and Crit was just doing so much as bottom lane Skidder again under attack is going to be okay. Back to my point though, Jonathan, I feel like the safe lane of LGD is going to be extremely important. You really don't want to allow ATF and Crit to just get out of control, because they're just causing too much trouble.
You can't allow what happened in game 1. At the very least this time around, it's a little bit easier to read where Crit wants to play. So you don't have to invest that much. You don't have to bring out all of these sentries to prevent him from just harassing out. It's a little bit harder for him to give Amar as much free room, and there's a little bit of wiggle room for Shiro in comparison to last time around. But once the levels are up, that's where it gets a little bit concerning. Again, the chain stun's coming out. If you can land the cookie into a spear, you're pretty happy. It doesn't take too much to kill off the Spectre early on. And you can start to snowball from there again. So it's just down to whether or not they find that angle or whether or not LGD pushes out the lane maybe a little bit too far.
I mean, you see the harassment here from Emo to Maureen. He just literally takes no damage from the cold snap of Emo, and you see Maureen just giga-chatting it up, running right towards the Invoker. No fear in the world, and there's just sadly nothing Emo can do in this mid lane apart from just try to secure some creeps. But just like last game, already is finding himself struggling here against the Dragon Knight as top lane YU Smile. Trying to trade harassment with Crit, but the Phoenix not having a great time. Obviously, the level 3 mark is probably a bit more of a spike here for YU Smile, but it's kind of easier said than done to get to that point here in this lane.
Yeah, even if you hit that level 3, I don't see that many opportunities to come in when you have a Spectre on hand. So you're going to be looking to hold it back, play passively again. If you hit level 6 on Shiro, and that ties into, say, a rotation potential, that's where you can start to play with Shadow Step.
You be careful, Crit. Not going to go for the cookie play. There's no spear out from ATF either. The one, I suppose, saving grace right now for LGD during this laning stage is probably the offlane, where you are seeing New having a pretty damn decent time. Only problem is Skid is having a much better time.
And he is. He's not being shoved out. He's at level 3. You know, he's been dropping low, but they couldn't really go for that early kill, try to slow down that life stealer. They will find why eventually.
Yeah, first blood to go the way of ATF, which is someone you really don't want to give it to. And Shiro was trying to fight back, but now he's just taking so much damage on the way out. And this is kind of the thing with Spectre. It's a very weak laning hero. You heard the panel say it. Or even with the chase onto the snap, it just means nothing. Is now bottom lane. New going to try and jump in onto Snake King. They will find a great kill onto the Pugna. Skidder also in a little bit of danger, but now Shiro in trouble. Spear gonna land, but it will not end up landing onto a tree. So no stun to come out as PYW. Bit off the mark there with that Earth Spike. Never mind though, New still chasing him down with a great hoof stomp out. Skidder is gonna go down. Huge kills coming up from LGD.
Yeah, they're starting to turn it around. Again, this lane is the one lane that I wanted to see that improvement from LGD. They're playing with their burst damage really nicely. They're tying in with the early Egg Sword from Emo as well. And he is playing Quasic Sword, but again, no one's going to be going into his mid lane, so he might as well try to look for some opportunities in the side lanes. Has a 300 damage Sunstrike ready to go, and with the stuns you have, the bot lane is where you're always going to be setting your eyes on now if you're LGD.
Again, the saving grace here for LGD, just the aggression you can apply here with this duo in the off lane is... We keep looking back to Malrine, who's still dominating that mid lane. Of course, you saw Shiro really struggling up top as well. ATF having the freest lane of a lifetime here, 27 and 18 on that off lane Mars. Not a very good sign here for the Dire. Again, you kind of hope New is able to match the aggression from his own side of the off lane, but... ATF just, again, finding exactly the kind of start he would like.
Yeah, it's building up, and even Y is hurting on Phoenix. Just hits level 3 now. So, you know, that additional damage from the Fire Spirits is ready, but again, how do you connect that? How do you connect that to anything with a Spectre on lane? It just doesn't feel like you'll find it. No way to move on to the mid. The mid holds steady again for Malrine. You can expect this DK, once he hits 6, to just shove into the tier 1 again. If no one comes in to contest, it's going to be the same tempo we saw from Falcons in the last game.
Mid lane, there might be a little bit of action breaking out. Bit of a chase here from Snake King, but was onto PYW. Looks like PYW does manage to get his way out of there. Mid lane, Crit and Malrine hanging out together. Malrine does have the level 6 mark, so does go right into the Dragon form, and this is exactly what we saw in game 1. As soon as he hits 6, the support rotations come in. Just allows him to get those free hits off onto the mid tier 1 tower. And it will force LGD to also start rotating supports to help out Emo, though Emo getting caught by Crit. Great positioning from the Snapfire, but they can't get the follow-up. In fact, now Emo going to turn around with the Chaos Meteor onto Malrine. It could be a huge kill, and it will be. Malrine to go down. Snaking also being chased, but will be able to walk away. But you see how much emphasis LGD put onto that mid-game.
That's exactly what they need. Course correcting from game 1, not allowing that pressure to sit in. Really good flank coming out from Crit. I'm a bit surprised they didn't read that. They saw Crit clear out the obs. He still snuck around, still found that angle, but the punishment did come true. And again, this time around, you can afford to leave your side lanes a little bit more. Like your Spectre can at least try to dagger out. It's a little bit more durable to leave in lane. So you have that leeway for the side of LGD to actually move around the map now. New. He's stable in his bot lane. He's going for that Vanguard. And again, we're starting to hit some of these times for LGD. Closing in on that level 6 on Lion, on the early Shadow Step. And again, with this presence, with this emphasis on Sunstrike for Emo, I can see the ball rolling once you can just Shadow Step onto whoever your Lion Centaur is jumping onto.
Mid tier 1 tower still on the siege. Like, you've even got just this Pugna running in, casually throwing Nether Blasts out. It's just no relief for LGD when it comes to the mid lane, and PYW kind of just stood there for a while. They'll go for a bit of a run now, maybe just looking for the bait onto Malrine. They'll get the Hex out. Chaos Meteor to land, but it's just no damage. Malrine still perfectly fine, still able to secure the Arcane Rune, and now with the Dragon form, I mean, he'll pop it immediately, knowing the cooldowns are going to be a lot lower. And that tier 1 mid tower, I mean, it's just looking as good as at this point. Just with the way this game's being played by Falcons, they are not retreating from this mid area, and well, quite frankly, why should they?
And they have no reason to. Back-to-back runes in the favor of Malrine. Shield rune to allow him to tank. Now the lower cooldown on the Elder Dragon form. he's just going to be poking it again, even if he doesn't find it now. Again, the big difference for LGD, you're getting some openings on the side lanes. You are allowed to leave your cores alone, but Crit's eyeing Shiro now. They wanted to try.
They land a spear though. Crit setting up for the cookie, does get it very, very nicely, though Sunray is going to be there to help out, and immediately the rotation here from Emo to try and get something. They'll pop the Stampede. Defensive Arena is out. Shiro, he'll find Crit on the Snapfire, so Crit still stick charging up, trying to run. ATF in the meantime, looking to go back in. He'll try to focus down Emo, but they have not got the backup required. Only Snaking was there to help out, and that is definitely not going to be enough.
Not quite enough. Good punishment for that chase down from the side of Falcons and LGD. And this is something that the panel pointed out. Oh,
Shiro, be very careful here, sir. Yeah, that's a problem, John. When ATF literally just walks in and kills you like that, that's a bit of a problem.
That it is. They find a one nice pick off. They don't quite respect. You feel a little bit safer. You know, you don't have to worry about Arena. You're still a Spectre. You know, and like your Phoenix can only do so much for the Sunray.
Speaking was on that Phoenix, and I mean, he's going to find something to do here, John, but it's sadly dying. As ATF finding his third kill of the game. Going back to the Spectre for a moment, he's currently sitting at 2.7k net worth. Not exactly something to write home about. And well, of course, now he's going to be lacking that safe lane to farm in. Tier 1 top tower also to go down. Of course, Marine did find the mid-tier 1 tower earlier. Just the exact same strategy here from Falcons, just completely outmaneuvering the side of LGD, taking these very early tier 1s and opening up the map. And sadly for LGD, with their own draft, they are not online early enough to really be able to fight back.
No. I mean, even his finger from PYW, not quite onto that level 6 mark yet, 10 minutes in. Kind of to be expected for this kind of pace from LGD. They don't have, again, it's kind of the same issue from game 1. Like, their angles for initiation aren't clear outside of like Stampede. Once you hit that blink timing on New, which the panel pointed out as well, this is when they can start to do a little bit more. Try to shadow step in, try to find a pick off. Smoke out from Falcons here though.
They go down towards the bot lane. Of course, that's where the last outer tier 1 tower is, so they will just rush towards that area. ATF and Crit. The dynamic duo looking to find New here on the Centaur. New, he does have the Stampede available, but they land the cookie. They've got the spear out. He could still have the option to pop the Stampede, but they'll just drop the Arena. No messing around from ATF. PYW, you're going to try and TP away, and they won't have the cat. To at least get the Pugner away, but you lose your Centaur, and now you've probably lost that tier 1 bottom tower.
Oh, it's just gone.
Yeah.
You've got the damage with snaking around. This push doesn't take too long to accomplish. And LGD, man, they've just got the stall. Kind of the same story as game 1, except you're hinging more on New's blink, more than PYW into getting his action going. Tier 1 gone, same timing again, around 11:40 for all of those tier 1s gone. Falcons, they've got this really good tempo.
He could get punished here. Surely you do punish, as ATF does get caught by the Earth Spike and is going to go down. LGD able to find themselves a huge pick-off onto this off-lane Mars, and well, ATF, you know, being caught in that position, it kind of just goes to show the mind state here of ATF, just feeling like they can't actually deal with it.
Yeah, pretty far forward, pretty disconnected. Good opening to be found by LGD. And that is a lot of gold to inject back into the system. Really good use of that first shadow step as well for Shiro. Straight into the Ancients farm, which they couldn't invade for Falcons. They spot it, they walk into that triangle, but ATF is still in lane. So now they've got the opportunity to share this farm, share that EXP, hit that level 6 on PYW, hit that level 6 on Y, and now you can play a little bit more. You know, you've got that uptime, you've got this tempo that the Spectre can bring with Shadow Step. You just need to find the angles now.
There you do. We'll see if they can get that done. Shiro desperately trying to catch up in terms of the farm department. At least almost has the blade mail up. Just needs the recipe now and could help him escalate a lot faster. But we shall see. 3K advantage still standing on the side of Falcons, and it seems like Falcons will take the time now to sit back and relax and just try to escalate their own net worth. I mean, they have all their outer tower, like all T1 towers are still standing here for Falcons, so there's plenty of space on the map to farm, and now New, let's get caught in the arena of ATF. Just so much damage, the kisses,
no, it's too close.
It's way too close, Crit, gonna get caught. Chaos Meteor out onto Malrine as well, though everyone somehow still alive, still surviving just for a little bit longer. Crit finally goes down. but it seems like they'll be able to get Maureen away though. ATF, he did jump in aggressively, and it seems like he will be punished as the life train is keeping alive. ATF still running. The suck, it's too powerful. Why you smile? Dropping low, so is Shiro, but they will not be able to land the stun. It's still a tough fight for LGD. I mean, they do salvage, John, but it looked pretty messy.
They salvage, but it's a costly salvage. That's your egg down, that's finger down for not much more than really this crit Snapfire, which was too close to get the kisses off. Maybe a little bit of a disconnect there in the execution. But again, so much effort for that one support. That's an opening. Falcons don't have that many long cooldowns to wait for. So once they're all kind of reset and if they want to go, they'll just be free to do so again.
Look at that. I mean, they got like 100 HP away from killing off ATF, and they just could not do it. The Infest plus the life train coming out, just keeping him alive long enough, and another demoralizing fight here for LGD. But it is still just a 4K advantage the way of Falcons. So already a much better game when you count the net worth department.
Sure, a little bit better than that game.
We've got to take the little wins here, Jonathan.
Yeah,
you know?
Stay positive. Still, again, Falcons, they're not going to be waiting around. They've got that blink up on Maureen. They're just gonna go.
That's a quick hex. That is a very quick hex from PYW. He was ready for that one, but in comes Crit and Maureen from the side. ATF still chasing down the Lion. Arena's down as well, catching out Shiro. But do they commit? Shiro's got the backup. In comes New. ATF being targeted. Ooh. They've got the Mars down. Perhaps it's the team fight LGD have been looking for. They'll rush Crit, but in comes Skitter. Why you smile? Just copping a shotgun blast to the face. And now Shiro. Oh, Shiro's been stunned up. Shiro's gone. 3 for 1.
I'm a little bit surprised he fully committed on the Shadow Step. I get using it to just try to slow down, try to break it up a little bit, but he commits. He goes in. There was not enough backup. They at least get the Sunstrike kill, but it just felt, again, a little bit disconnected. You weren't close enough for New to get that counter initiation going for yourself, and they just managed to burst down your line anyway. It just falls apart.
It just seems like the focus is really ATF in these team fights, and I can't quite blame them, but this is where things just went wrong. Running right into Crit, he gets a 3-man scatter blast, and well, that was pretty much all she wrote. At least New does manage to TP away, but you lose Shiro, and well, now you've got some time to think about what happened in that last team fight for LGD, because you've got a pause going on.
Yeah, they can try to plan around it. Not a fairly long pause, fairly quick here. There's so much more time needed to really cook up this Spectre from a hard carry stance as well. And you're running into those issues again, which are a great panel. Ooh.
Yeah. It's looking like the John X Fire.
You know what? You know why this is happening?
Why is that, John?
He doesn't have a double plate mail. He doesn't have a shard yet.
No plate mail.
No plate mails.
Well, what's he doing, John?
That's new build. That's new meta.
I
get the Aether Lance. It's nice, but you need those plate mails.
Absolutely.
And the shard.
Absolutely.
That's gonna win. That's gonna win them the game.
Of course. That's what I've been reading.
It's just unbeatable. Eventually. That's the one condition. Along with, well, just finding the angle in with a blink up on you. Falcons, they're in a happy position. 9-7, 5K up. As you mentioned, a little bit closer this game, but they're still certainly in control. We haven't even really seen Skitter join in. He's working on his own Radiance. His timing on this Lifestealer is definitely going to be faster than Shiro on that Spectre. So once you have that Radiance up as well, it just makes it so hard. Like, if you're trying to blink in pretty close range, you're just not going to be able to do so. It's going to be harder to find that angle without expending Stampede as well.
Top lane. A smoke here from PYW on New, but ATF and Snaking hanging around together. It's a 2v2 scenario. Nice move stop though, and now Shiro, he can come right in. They'll take down Snaking, and they've got ATF as well. PYW now with the double kill out. I saw you make a little fist there, Jonathan. You looked very happy to see Lion getting some kills.
Yeah, it's necessary. You know, you're building up some of those stacks. One finger stack. So you're going to get that 70 HP when you hit 15.
Oh.
Try to pile it up some more with that plate mail.
I'm bat-chesting, John.
That's what you need. More kills for PYW. It's got to go to him with a finger. But it's a big kill. You know, they get the rotation out. Finally, they find that angle with the blinks out. And that's the way they can bully. They've been playing off the back of this max X-Sort on Emo quite nicely. They just can't afford to put their foot off the pedal.
Emo. He's going to be feeling quite emo here, John, as he's looking to go down to the kisses of Crit. Nothing the man could have done, just being caught out by the stun of Maureen. And of course that was, I believe, the blink reveal coming out. Perhaps not, but perhaps. Emo, you'd assume you'd be safe by the tier 2 mid tower, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would assume that. They have some really good again, forward wards here from the side of Falcons to give them some pretty good information for that kind of flanking move. And side of LGD, they just committed top.
Yeah.
So they knew mid would just be free. Get that punishment, get the kisses off. And LGD, it's not the worst thing to lose, even though it's your Invoker. You're probably happier it's not Shiro again.
Yeah.
Because you really need that build-up. It just takes so long for a Spectre to try to play from behind. It needs so much space. And look at Falcons, their vision game, they're invading that entire top jungle. 3 wards watching entry points in the top jungle, starting to shove in on the tier 2s on both lanes.
Oh, Malrine getting caught new. A great double stun coming out. Snaking being targeted first, and now Malrine will be the follow-up.
Chain stuns, man.
I mean, he's been fantastic this game. You know, just constantly jumping in for the multi-man stuns. Really putting the team on his back.
That and their target prioritization is excellent. They're always going for snaking first. He cops the Sun Strike. He cops all of that nuking. They just remove that factor of decrep, remove the factor of life drain, and it just makes it a lot harder to play through that sustain here for Falcons. You expect the Pugna to be further behind.
You've got Skitter invested here on the Mars. Emo is being watched very carefully by ATF, and they jump in, but a nice Cyclone is there onto the Mars, though. Emo accepting the fact he does need to fight. They'll drop the Sun Ray, they'll drop the Egg, they'll drop even the Hoof Stop, but nothing really working out here for LGD. As Skitter, looking for the chase, does go down the path through the mid-river, chasing down New. In fact, it seems like they are going to change directions towards YU Small, but they've missed out on everyone else. So you take the Emo kill, and that'll be about it. LGD, they get everyone else out of there, at least for now.
Yeah, there you find a pretty nice mid kill. You save your tier 1 as well. So you're preventing LGD from trying to open up the map a little bit more. Even though tier 1 at this point doesn't give you much, it's still an additional TP point. It's still an additional area where LGD is not going to be comfy and trying to sneak around. So you're hanging on to that advantage here for Falcons. Still 7k up. You've got that full Radiance on Skitter. So his presence in the infests are pretty damn big. And again, everything's still kind of lining up. A little bit more even for LGD. The Radiance timing for Shiro isn't too far off, considering this kind of game.
Oh, Emo, no. No.
Oh, boy.
Not Emo.
Again. The same exact move.
Excuse the pun, John, but this is getting rather depressing for Emo.
That it is. That it is. Maybe he's starting to rock out in that My Chemical Romance. Shadow Step?
Yeah, jump is there. They'll at least punish ATF. Not a bad trade at all for LGD. I mean, considering the impact that you're having on this Mars, it's probably more worthwhile than, say, Emo's life at the moment.
Yeah, but you're giving up a push opportunity up top. You're not going to be able to rotate to stop this. You've got the Pugna and the DK that just hammer through. Fortify will stall it, but it's down to less than half HP. One more shove will open up that area of the map completely for the side of Falcons. And it's just a further choking away for LGD to try to catch up here. Smoke out, but smoke out in Falcons as well.
Falcons. Where do they head? They're right about now at the top side. You don't really have any targets here from LGD. LGD kind of in a similar situation, just around the bot side of the map. Have no options for themselves in terms of Falcon heroes. They'll find out the hard way very, very soon. And Falcons, though, you could just kind of decide to go after the top tier 2 tower. You always have that option available to you, even without the Dragon form, but Malrine is now going to have it up and available. You'll have a gander through that top side of the map, see if you can find anyone farming those creeps. Instead, now TPing down towards the bottom side of the map. Still having a look here is Malrine. They might even run right into Shiro, and it seems like they have. In fact, it was New getting caught out of the Centaur, so New does go down.
That's a pretty big pickoff. That's a lot of time invested in that infest for Skitter. But they find a pretty decent hero to take out, applying pressure. Emo, trying to clear out the Ancients. A little bit dicey, but it's fine. They open up the Roche opportunity now. Without that Stampede, without the Centaur for a little bit of time, they can attempt it. They've got the damage. And they've got the forward vision. Like they've got, again, this really nice ward right in front of where the tier 1 would be. So you can't just run up and contest on LGD. And Falcons, this should be their ticket to find some tier 2s, maybe start to knock onto the high ground if they wished.
Oh, Roshan certainly going to go down. LGD in no position to try and contest this Roshan play. Falcons now 7k ahead, 13 to 12, 22 and a half minutes in. Sunstrike will reveal that Roshan is indeed happening, but you don't really have any kind of play towards it. Skitter was leaving just the Roshan, the Aegis in the pit, does decide to pick it up.
It's a big pickup, good scan to just spot that movement from Falcons, but it's a very expected movement out post-Roshan. They've got the Veil up on Y, so a little bit more damage can fly in. They are pretty reliant on magical damage right now. Your Spectre's not really doing too much physical. It's just looking to disperse back. So you've got, again, some combinations ready. If they find an angle, again, I think 2 lives in the life stealer is pretty feasible if they stack their stuns properly. We'll see. Going out for the smoke play.
They certainly are. 3-man smoke out from LGD. Grouping up for a 4th now as Emo does join the crew. BKB now available on Emo to boot, so a nice little power spike here for the Invoker. Snaking is the closest option to them, though ATF now showing himself, but the Earth Spike not going to land. Still New, at least there, to follow up with his own stun. But do they have the damage output? They're going to try and drop the egg here onto ATF, but he does get the BKB off in time. Still PYW and New chasing them down with the Stampede out. They'll run right into the high ground, but there goes PYW. Now the arena drop, though, completely whiffed, but it was perhaps a little bit defensive as Why You Smile is going to go down a boot in the river. New trying to get out of here. The chase is on, though. Malrine probably going to find him. Skidder jumps out with the Infest, and, well, that's just 3 down. New getting tipped here by ATF to boot. Just so aggressive.
They really forced that movement out. Like PYW chasing forward, trying to get that finger timing right as the BKB fades, just
Emo?
too early.
Emo? BKB's been committed. Emo's going to force to get a TP out of there, and he does make it. Sunstrike, not going to land.
No.
I mean, I appreciate that play.
Yeah.
It's optimistic, but I appreciate it.
I mean, you've got to find something at this point for LGD. He tries to find it, doesn't quite get it.
He found a tip, John.
He found a tip.
That's what he found.
I mean, this chase was just, it's way too prolonged. Life drain and back, they couldn't find Snaking this time around. And then the burst play from PYW, it's just not there. Goes for the finger, it's spell immunity still on.
Oh, it's painful to watch, isn't it, John? Oh, you're a Lion player, you've done that a few times, I'm sure.
It happens. You know, that first charge always feels longer.
I mean, I'd never miss like that, to be fair, but maybe you.
If you say so, Mike.
Yeah.
You say it, not me. But yeah, it's a rough time for LGD. That's the exact same movement that they found success with, but you miss 1 stun, and you know you have more spacing for snaking. That's the big correction for Falcons. As long as the Pugna doesn't get bursted down first, life drain, decrep, they are going to be issues.
Yeah. And here we go again. Falcons infested up here with the Dragon Knight, so Malrine looking for another target. So is ATF down towards the bottom side of the map, though barely going to miss out on the Phoenix. I say that though, ATF, he smells some chicken in the forest and it looks like he found it. Why You Smile going to try and Icarus dive away, but there is no running. ATF, hands already up. Keck, oh, the egg even being dropped here. I mean, I suppose perhaps you're going to get away with a secondary life as ATF just hold. Oh, what a spear!
My God!
What a spear to come out from ATF. The timing is perfect. And Why You Smile.
Oh, Mar.
That's a Keck buy, John. That is a Keck buy, is New. I mean, still playing around with the Dragon Knight. New. Dropping quite low. We'll go for the TP play out, but no, the Dragon Tail's going to be there. He is gone. And it seems as though they are not done yet, because PYW is going to go for a bit of a cheeky run, try to run towards the south and escape the grasp of ATF, and it seems like this time around, he is going to make it. Here we go.
Oh, this timing, man.
ATF, you can't give this guy months. You can't give this guy months.
Look at this.
Oh,
jeez.
Oh, that's a shish kebab, Jonathan.
Oh, it certainly is. Fresh delivery out. And they were eaten well down bot. Ugh. Gosh, Amar. Hands up as well.
He's had experience with those shish kebabs, John.
Oh, that he has.
I've seen him.
That he has.
I saw him eating some in the lobby.
That they have. I'm sure all of Falcons now, you know, digging into that. As they are also digging into that tier 3 up top. And LGD, they do have some high ground. This is where you can shine on that Centaur, but you've got to find snaking. You've got to find the backline, really. Like that's where LGD's success has been coming from. They need to pinpoint this Pugna. Take care of that healing. Burst him down, try to clean up afterwards. You've got some decent presence coming out from your spec, considering how tough of a game it has been for Shiro. There is some presence. The Manta style's almost done. But if you try to turtle like this, eventually...
Oh, jump in, snaking. Will get caught, finger committed. Snaking does go down. Nice little pick off there from LGD, realizing snaking was running in for the with a Nether Blast into the tier 3 tower. Mind you, the creeps do find the tier 3 anyway, so I suppose snaking gives his life away for nothing, but you still get the tower.
They find the objective. They also find out that there are wards, double sentries, and one obs in that area. So same play can't quite come out for LGD, and as the D wards will eventually come in for Falcons, or they avoid that area entirely. 12k lead standing for the Falcons, and LGD. We've seen a lot better fights here. Right? I am very curious as to if whether or not PYW will actually finish this Midas before Blink. Maybe taking that plate mail build to heart, but hopefully not. I think the Blink is going to be a lot more impactful for him. Get that instant Hex out.
It's not what Reddit tells me, John.
No.
Mid lane. Emo probably going to want to stay off Reddit after this series.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah. He's just
it
like
is,
that.
Yeah, it's the Black Parade here, Jonathan, in the mid lane.
That it is.
Not his parade, though.
It's a banger at the very least. It's a bit of an earworm for him.
Or top lane, rather. Why you smile? Does not want a bar of ATF nor Snake. We'll leave the area.
I like the Satanic being up in Amar. Just more sustain up front. It's going to be even harder to try to burst play him down. Oh, hunting for Y again.
They certainly are. Why you smile cannot get away from your favorite shish kebab dealer here at ATF.
Ooh.
Looking for that chicken, will not find. Why you smile? Going to be okay this time to get his way out of it. Problem is, Jonathan, the bottom tier 2 tower can't do.
Yeah. Just sieging away. They don't need to fully commit in Falcons. They've got the map under their control and just trying to rip more of it away from the side of LGD. Not fully committing, though. So they aren't looking to play too fast here in Falcons. Maybe, again, wait for that next Roche. Could be an option as well. Not too much left to wait for. Maybe the Octarine, just for more uptime on Malrine. That's a little bit more of a bonus. Still got the Infest running on Malrine, so could try for a jump.
I believe Skidder doesn't feel like he has to leave the deck.
No,
I mean, you just don't need the farm.
No.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Malrine will carry for us. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he can steal some creeps anyway with Radiance.
I mean, Kezu
No
was, mentioning, Malrine basically the next miracle.
Yeah.
And I was bat-chesting Jonathan.
Yeah.
I saw his performance.
We've seen him a couple of times, and every single time he's been the highlight of pretty much every team he's been on. So they will go back for that siege on high ground.
Malrine going to find Shiro just standing there, but he's a big tanky boy. He's going to try and jump in. Skidder jumping right back out, going after the Centaur, and there is just nothing they can do to follow up. Malrine literally took no damage as PYW going down to ATF. Meanwhile, in goes Malrine once again onto the Phoenix. Why You Smile is burning alive as Crit will just throw hot charcoal at him. If you couldn't tell, Jonathan, I am quite hungry at the moment. That's why I keep making food references.
I mean, from the shish kebab alone, Mike, they've been cooking.
It's charcoal chicken this time, John.
Some delicious charcoal chicken. What's not delicious for LGD is losing your buildings while they're cooking up something on Falcons. And without a lot of their spells up, it's going to be a difficult proposition to fight back. They've got Stampede. They could try for a Blink Hoof Stomp to some sort of combination. I just don't see you doing enough damage at this point. They are just too durable on the side of Falcons. They'll take the mid. Mega Creeps prevented with that tier 2. It's still standing bot. But how much hold LGD has left? How much bite? I wouldn't say it's not that much bite left. They've got to really bite harder.
Yeah. I mean, this is about as one-sided as me arguing with my wife, Jonathan. I mean, just absolutely zero chance, let me tell you. Zero chance. I mean, LGD, they are still at least trying. They're not as weak as me, Jonathan, at the very least. So there you go. Falcons. 5-man smoked up again. I say 5-man. It's a 4-man, but Skidder, he's going to take a free ride through the Dragon Knight. Through the bottom lane, LGD, they're also going to go for a 5-man smoke. This could be the last-ditch effort to try and make this game work. LGD
Good
looking
scan.
for a target, but I don't think you want the Dragon Knight. You need the support at the very least. It's new. He's going to try and jump in, but he's stunned up immediately. He found no target. Why You Smile in trouble again. He's still surviving, though, as ATF now being targeted on the Mars, but he's just not taking enough damage. He is not taking enough damage. They'll buy back on Why You Smile. Looks like they've caught out Shiro. Tips out on you. What can you do? It's one of those games, John. What can you do?
Not much. Not much. I will want to point out as well that PYW did finish the Midas and did go for the Shard over a Blink first.
Of course he did, John.
He just needs those plate mails now.
He just needs the plate mail.
That's it. Eventually, the BKBs will be short enough that he will be able to just drain all their mana. Doesn't come into play there. Roshan is taken off the back of that. And Falcons, again, in a very strong position. Tier 2 still stands bot. Not going to be standing for long. Really unfortunate fight for LGD. Just their smoke breaks, the scan was there from Falcons. They had that information beforehand. And the blind blink out from New, just not catching anyone, not being able to find that Pugna. It just destroys your fight.
It certainly does. The LGD, they are trying their absolute best here to salvage this game number 2, but it is just getting worse and worse as the tier 2 bottom tower now goes down. That is the last outer tower remaining. Of course, one Rax is left standing as well, and that is down through the bot lane. Falcons will go for the easy Tormentor pick off on the Dire's side. That'll be snaking now with his shards up. And it seems like Falcons, they might just relax for a little bit, John. Just control the map, get some more farm going. Wait for LGD to come to you.
Yeah, they don't have that much room to go around, so they can just choke him out from this point onward. And they've got Aegis, they've got Cheese.
Look at that shard, John.
Oh,
it's fantastic.
Look, just 370 mana left, so balanced.
This is incredible.
This is the gameplay that you strive for.
This is peak Dota 2 gameplay. He's got PYW. Press the E button, sir.
He's got the Aether Lens. He just needs a Eye of the Vizier. And you're pretty happy if he had that.
Oh, here we go. Falcons just sneaking in. Malrine missing out on the stun for now, but he can just go right towards the bottom tier 3 tower. PYW. Let's get the mana drain off. Does get rid of the nice Mantra Illusions. It's the Earth Spike landing on 2, but Malrine with no hesitation jumps in, taking down the Lion. He just absolutely explodes. But we'll buy it back. It's another 5v5 engagement. Mind you, Skidder, he does still hold on to the Aegis, has no mana though. Is ATF going to jump in onto PYW looking for the dieback? He might just have it as well. Oh. PYW, he is gone. He is just well and truly down. 4 heroes up on LGD trying to defend their tier 4 towers. Falcons, they could not care less. They really couldn't.
No. There's just no play. LGD, they can't find these angles. They'll try.
They're going to try and jump ATF. ATF, though, just healing up all the way.
Panic.
Who's in there? Crit. He jumped in by himself, but he'll eat the cheeks. He'll survive another day. His ATF jumps back in. They're onto Shiro now. Shiro by his own Ancient underneath the tier 4 towers, but he's the one getting taken down. He's gone.
They called.
And so is this game. GG is called. LGD, I mean, they had some sort of a game plan, but it does not work out in their favor. And, well, Falcons, I'll tell you what, John, there was some doubts about this.